Hello, welcome, Marlon here. Today I'm making a cake. Stay tuned for the step-by-step tutorial to learn how I made this adorable stroller cake. Here's my cake all baked. I leveled the bottom using the cake pan just so that it would lay flat on my cake board. I don't want it to crack. And I'm just going to put a piece of parchment paper to flip it over here. Here is my cake out of the cake pan, ready to get started. I got a cake board that's plenty big, and now I'm just going to move that. And I'm just adding a bit of buttercream to the base of my cake board so that my cake sticks there nicely. And I'm centering that onto the cake board. To avoid future headaches, if you want, you can add just a little bit of parchment paper strips along the edge of your cake, and this will keep your cake board nice and tidy as you decorate, and then you can just pull these out and put them in the trash and not have to worry about going around your cake with a paper towel and cleaning up the buttercream from the cake board. Ready to get started. I have some just white buttercream, and I'm just going to do a light crumb coat on the surface of the cake here just to tidy it up so that I don't have, first of all, cake peeking through or crumbs in my nice decorations. We section off our cake now. I'm just going to mark up the cake. So here I'm doing my wheels. So this will be gray right here. The handle will be gray. This down here will be basket weave beige. And up here, I think I'm going to make it white so that it's neutral for everyone. So we're just going to do a white canopy here. I'm going to pop this into the freezer. Moving right along. Here I'm just adding some gray icing to all here. So let's just, so this is where the handle for the stroller is, and so I'm just covering this in this gray color to mimic silver, the metallic on the stroller. And here it will be hidden, you'll see later with what. Okay, and now the wheels. Let's start with this one here. There. And now this wheel. So let's pop that in the freezer just so I can get a nicer edge on those wheels. Another pass on those wheels just to smooth out the edge here and hide the white base icing that we added. There. And the other wheel. I actually have some cake showing here. And now you can see why that's parchment paper on the cake board comes in handy. I just want to make sure that where I'm going to be dropping my wheels is nice and flat here. Now for the handle on the stroller. There we go. I've got a big piping tip, a number 9, and now I'm just here, I'm going to do the straight one here, like so, and then there'll be a total of 6 spokes in the wheel. There we go, and now I'm just turning to be able to work here. And I'm going to pop this in the freezer. I'm going to trim off the spokes so that I can do the wheel section. So I'm just cutting that with a cookie cutter. There we go. Oh, pulled off one of my actual spokes. I'll reposition that. Just get these off. There we go. I'll repipe that one actually. So let's do this one here. Center. Just going to redo the spokes that broke off. So here, this one here to there, and here this one, and this one. There. Okay, so let's leave that for right now. I'm going to work on the canopy. I'm going to start on just one section at a time here. I'm just going to smooth that out. I want this to be rounded. Now for the next section here, it's easier to work on this outside one since there's nothing, so we'll just smooth that out to start. Now this last section, I'm going to pop this in the freezer, and then once it's hardened and I can press into it a little bit, I'll be able to come back and smooth it out further. But right now I don't want to touch it anymore because I'll damage my nice little bumps that I'm creating right here. I'm making the wheels now, the actual tire part. I'm going to show you what I did here. So first thing, I've got a piece of parchment paper, and to that I'm adding some white buttercream. And you just want to do a little mound there. And next I'm taking a piece of saran wrap, and I'm going to be rolling that out with some guides so that my icing maintains a certain thickness. Now I've got the small cutter that I use to cut the spokes around the tire, and leave that there. Now I'm taking the actual wheel size center and I'm pressing again. Now make sure you press the two at the same time. Now when we lift this off, we have a nice beveled tire area. We're going to put this in the freezer to set up before handling it. I'm just repositioning the inner circle there. It's not quite centered and it puffs up like nicely. You just have to correct your thing and it just readjusts. Okay, now I can pick this up, put it in the freezer, and then I'll be able to put that on my cake. You see? This is the center of the wheels. I've got two little mounds of white icing, and I'm using a small round cutter to create two little dots. That goes in the freezer as well. Now I'm just further smoothing out my bassinet top here, the stroller top. You don't want to press too hard. You don't want to damage these nice mounds that we've created. All right. And now I'm just taking a small palette knife here, and I'm just going to pull to define this here. And now here's that border for the bottom. So I'm just actually going to cut off this icing here so that I can add my piece there. So that's straight again. First thing, the middle, I'm just taking out my little pieces that I made earlier, breaking off the parts that I don't want or need. And I'm going to just add a little dollop of the silver icing right there. And then I can just pop in the little wheel part. And now on this side, you see the buttercream gets frozen solid and you can actually handle it like a piece of fondant. Now for the wheels, I'm taking off the outer perimeter. There we go. Take them out one at a time so that you can not worry about it thawing out. And there. There's the wheel. So for the handle, I'm going to start here. Like that. So there's the stroller's handle. Just smooth that out. There. And now I'm going to pop this in the freezer so I can come in and add my other bits. So let's take off the parchment paper we put, and I suggest that you just go around and you cut the buttercream at the edge here, just because it sometimes will rip or crack because it's been frozen and it's attached to the amount of buttercream that's on the parchment paper. So you just run your knife around the cake like so, and it'll just make it that much easier to separate the parchment paper from the cake. And now I can remove my pieces and expose my nice clean cake board. You may have to clean it up a little bit, but nowhere near as much as if you hadn't put this parchment paper on the cake. To be able to work better on the basket weave, I've cleaned off some of my icing here, and I'm going to start again. Okay, now I'm drawing on my guidelines. Now I'm going to take a round tip and add the lines. I'm not going to go all the way to the top here, just like that. Now that I've got those lines on, I'm going to come in and finish off the weave. I'm going to start the center here. And you leave the width of your piping tip in the middle, like that. Now I'm going to come in and redo that silver border that I wanted, and so I'm just doing a wiggly line. There we go. Now we've got a nice base, but we need to jazz it up. Right here I'm going to add just a round. Let's just smooth that out. My icing is quite soft. I've been working with it for... Alright, let's pop that in the freezer so that it can set up and I can finish off my details. Here are the two piping tips I'll be using. For this one I'll add a bit of yellow to the center and I'll be doing a light pink around, and this one will be light pink in the center and a darker pink around. And what I'm doing here is I'm just putting a piece of saran wrap on my work surface. Here's my pink buttercream, and I'm just spreading it out a little bit. There we go. And now to the center of that, I'm just adding some yellow, like so. And now when I wrap the pink around it, there, and now I'm just going to add a bit of pink to the top, seal the yellow in the center there. There we go. And now I can kind of make a cylinder that I'll pop into my piping bag. Piping tips in, and I've got the bag folded, and now what I'm doing is I'm just adding some darker pink to the outside of my piping bag, like so. You see? And now I can come in and fill the center with my lighter icing. And then you unfold your piping bag. Now for the other, I'm popping in my piping bag, and I'm just going to trim off the saran wrap here. Obviously we want the icing to be able to come out, and if I don't do that, I won't get my icing out. And I squeeze, I can see my icing coming out. Alright, now I want to add some ruffles to this. The fat edge towards the top. Now, let's see here. I don't want the flowers to go past here. And here it doesn't matter. So I'm going to kind of alternate the kinds of flowers. There we go. I want to add a ruffle to the edge of my canopy here. There. Kind of holding in my flowers. And now I'm taking my leaf tip and adding some leaves in there to fill in the holes that aren't very pretty. There. There we go. And let's switch up the tip and add a little, should I have a little bit of swirling flowers coming down here? And just there. And going to put the piping tip back in for the leaves. There we go. My initial design, I had added little hearts on the center of the wheels here, so I'm just going to do it. There. And on here I'm going to add one. I'm just adding some dots to the canopy section. I don't want to add color, but I do want to add something. I find not enough is going on over here compared to everything else. I'm just doing a cluster of 3 little dots. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's cake project. I have to tell you, it's one of my favorites in a while. I really like the color palette, and the flowers, yeah, they're pink, but it doesn't mean that it's for a girl baby. It could be just for mom. This would be a cute cake for a baptism as well, I think. But thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Here are some more buttercream cake projects. If you'd like to check these out, you can touch the screen or you'll find the links in the description box. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future uploads, and I'll see you next time.